Hello everyone, my name is Corazar, and welcome back to the Vintage Story Guide. We are back in the world after having built our brand new Potter's house. And I am really happy how this came out, and I hope you all enjoyed the build tutorial. I did come in and fill in these underside pieces with some upside down blue shingle stairs, just to sort of smooth out that sort of slope there. Instead of being one block steps, they're half block steps. And now that I see this, I'm realizing that I put the entrance to our kiln area in the wrong spot. I'm gonna fix that. Be right back. Okay, much better. That makes a lot more sense. Between episodes, I went over to our commodities trader, and I managed to pick up a few stacks of salt, and they're currently grinding in the corn right now, which means that at the present time I'm kind of stuck here, because if I leave the area for any length of time, especially if I go far away, I'm going to end up with salt that despawns, and my gears will have been for nothing. So I think we're going to hang out in the area today, and since we worked on sort of the macro scale building yesterday, I think today we're going to work on some micro scale building. I want to do a bit of detail work. There are a couple more things I want to get to on the Pottery Shack, but I also wanted to bring our attention back to the Blacksmith, where we've been dealing with these dumb oak plank window stand-ins for a while, and I had been thinking about how to go about designing these windows so we don't have to do them all by hand. But I was thinking, what if we were to use oak logs instead of the oak planks, since we can't copy the vertical planks? Because if we take this and we chop away half of it, we are left with, basically, vertical grain. And that's exactly what I want in our windows here. So I'm thinking we can just use the oak logs and sort of make the same design, but as I was thinking, I realized that having just a single square window looks kind of, I don't know, samey. It's too patterned. Everything here is very square. So I was thinking, what if we extend the window up and down by half a block each? That could be interesting, and that way we'll have a 2-block high window, but it'll be centered on a block. There are also some other improvements I want to make to the Blacksmith. For instance, I want to add some sort of structural support for the roof, which would include some angled wood going up to the peak, and also maybe some stud support by sending logs from these intersections of the crossbeams here up to the roof. And then I was thinking it would be cool to have some kind of grating here. Something sort of industrial. And I was thinking that we could use some slate up in here and chisel it down and turn it into like an iron grate, and then have an iron grate section in each of these with a hole in the center. And I'm thinking that could be for maybe keeping hot sparks or bits of hot metal from flying up into the roof and lighting the roof timbers on fire. And then lastly, I think I just want to bring a little bit more clutter into our forge here, because this is sort of a little too clean. I want to have, you know, stacks of crates full of ingots and unsmelted ore, and I want to have racks of tools and all manner of interesting things to look at, and to be functional. So today is going to be all about detailing a build, a couple builds. So, if that's what you're into, stick around. So I'm thinking we start with some of the simple stuff first, and then move on to the finer details. So let's just drop the ladder here, and we're going to head up here. And I think what I want to do is, I don't want to invest too many oak logs into this, because I'm already going to be using 39 oak logs to do all of the windows here. So I think what I'm going to do is, here, we will create our first beam. And I'm going to skip these 2-block sections. I just don't think they need the support. There we go. And then I brought along some oak stairs, and we're just going to drop these in here like so. And then for the center sections, I'm just going to drop some regular full block planks right in there. You can try to target the sides of the blocks, not the bottom of the roof. Although that might be better the other way. And there we go. Simple, but effective. It just sort of helps break up that, you know, boring roof line. So next, I think I want to work on these windows. You guys can be real annoying, so... Quiet, you. Much better. No more banging and clanging. So we're going to get rid of this, but I am going to leave it here as an example to myself of what we're going to be working on. Like so. And then we need to tear out, or rather, we need to add some oak logs into these blocks here. So we're just going to use our chisel and one by one add the oak blocks to these upper and lower limestone rock blocks. And now we can add that. And I'm just realizing that I did not need to do any of that because we're going to be using the copy feature of the extended workbench, and we're going to need fresh limestone blocks, not these chiseled ones. Oh well. Okay, so we're going to start from this, and we are going to just make that a full block now. On the outside, we're going to want to cut that back to begin with, just like that. And I think what we'll do, just so we don't end up with a funny dark border, I might set the frame in one voxel, because if we just have our window like this, for example, we'll still have some of that sort of barky texture on this side, but not out here. So I think I want to just sort of set this in one more block, or one more single voxel, so that we don't have that sort of funny look to it. And it'll give a little more definition to this window as well. So I'm going to start working on this, and we'll see where it takes us. And there we have it. We now have our window slats. And now what we're going to do is we're going to do the thing where we tear them down from our walls and we go copy them 13 times each. So we're going to need 36 more pieces of log, and we're going to need 24 more limestone blocks. And I think I have all that. And like that, we have some window slats in our forge. And boy, is it more comfortable already to work in the heat in here. Look, I can stand by the fire, and I'm still not hot. Next, I want to make some copper ingots for a super secret project. Hello. This will be interesting. Anyway, I want to start setting up some copper ingots, so I'm going to crush these guys and get this fire in. Then, while that is cooking, we're going to work on the interior some more. Alright, so what I want to do here is I want to move you temporarily to, say, here. And I want to break up these sort of flat sections of wall. And what I'm thinking of doing is maybe sort of making these into little bays. Now here, it's not going to work out quite as well. So I might have this area be a little bit different. But I want to, I guess, start with some bricks. And the idea here is I want to do something like this, I'm thinking. Yeah, let's go with that. And wherever these oak logs are, I'll have this sort of stone brick support right here against the wall. And once we get these bays made, we'll be able to start designating what's going to go in them. Like, I know I want like some over here to be for just storage, and maybe some over here will be for like the ingot molds. But I want to sort of separate all these different areas into distinct work areas, because right now everything's just kind of spread around everywhere. And I'm not really liking how this turned out. This sort of weird corner of molds is just, ugh, gross. And then I think I want to just do a bit of this to make these a little less harsh. Yeah, let's do that. There we go. Looking a little better already. And our copper is done, so we're going to go ahead and pour all those. Okay, and now we need to hang our tool rack back up. And I think we will probably just keep it right over here, about where it was before. And then let's just do some rearranging of some of the features around here. Now, this area, this one's kind of a problem area, only because I'm not quite sure what I want to do here. I know what we're missing. We need a barrel for quenching, and 5 buckets of water. Perfect. And you know what? I can think of something else that would go well in here. So I was a bad boy, and in between episodes, a couple episodes ago, I did manage to go to the treasure hunter trader. I bought from him this very fine pair of pants, Lager Greaves, and I fixed them up. So we now have this spare set of iron plate leggings, and I think those would go well in our blacksmith.
as if we were working on a suit of armor and had only done the leggings. So let's just plop you, say, there. That. Yes, I am liking this more and more. But not you guys. Now, I've been debating what to do with this copper anvil. I kind of want to keep it around just because it's our very first anvil, and might be neat to have and just put somewhere for decoration. If we wanted to, though, we could break it down into the equivalent of 8 ingots of copper in copper bits, and we could smelt them back into 8 more ingots of copper. But, I mean, we have plenty of copper. We don't need the extra nuggets anytime soon. So I'm kind of thinking I might just skip that. Now, what to do about these ingot molds, because I think it's going to get a bit cramped down here, and I do want it to be somewhat cramped. I might do a double wide table right in here, because we don't really need to come through here much. We don't really fiddle with these molds very often, and this is the only part of the forge area that we really need to worry about. But I feel kind of weird making a wooden table and pouring super duper hot metal into molds on the table. So I kind of think it might be time to go for a different kind of table. And to that end, we're going to use our very first meteoric iron ingot, and we're going to make ourselves a meteoric iron saw. And let's go chuck this into our quenching barrel. Okay, maybe not. Let's just make our saw. And the reason that we're making this is because I want to make a pink... Actually, I want to make several pink marble tops tables, and those require saws of either meteoric iron or steel. So, let's leave these here, and let's go take a quick jaunt over to our slate mine, where we know there is some pink marble. Okay, here we are. I run around and lit the place up pretty well. So we are going to just relieve a little bit of this stone. I don't need a ton, but let's get moving. Okay, so maybe I got a little carried away, but I do enjoy mining and getting materials, so... Yep, I took a bunch of it. I took a whole bunch of it. And I'm not ashamed. A full stack of pink cream marble rock, and a whole bunch of different kinds of stone. So let's gather up our torches, and we will rocket back home. Alright, so for this operation, we are going to need 10 tables, and I brought along 5 pink cream marble rock. We are going to grab our hammer and grab our chisel, polish these guys up, and then split them into slabs. Now, we're going to need 10 tables, and for that I brought our regular saw and a bunch of these guys, and then we just need to take our marble and our tables and our fancy new saw, which is here. And there we go. 10 pink marble-topped tables. And as far as the placement goes, I think I want to do... Let's start here, see how this looks. Let's see if it works better like this. You know, I don't hate it. I don't hate it. So you are just going to come with me for now. And I messed something up here. Apparently really badly. That's not great. Well, I'm going to fix this now because we are going to need these hammers for our super secret project in a little bit. So, BRB. Okay, so I figured out what went wrong with the held hammers, and apparently it's this block right here. We cannot have a block of any size, apparently, above
this block right here, because it looks like this hammer extends into this block. So I'm just going to take these out and move them up a block. Like so, like so, and like so. Actually, I'll show you what happens. So we have this block here, and we can drop this here, and then the helping hammer will start flat like this. That means that something's blocking it. But if I go ahead and take that block out, then that works again. And put it in, and I assume it wouldn't work. So we're just going to move this up a block and do that. Now, I took apart my entire powertrain while trying to figure this out, so I'm going to go and reinstall that. Wish me luck. Alright, back in working order, and although the windows died down, I did hear one little pling-pling of all of the hammers hitting, so I think we're good. Well, I guess that puts this secret project on hold, but we do have something else that we're here to do. And we are just going to head up here and pick a random spot. Bam! Right there. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to take our chisel, and I am going to start from below, honestly. Chisel this block down to a sliver. And you know what? I'm just going to bring you back down here. Work on you here. We are just going to do this. I lift this one out of here, I should be able to place it here, and then rotate it so it lines up. Perfect. Okay, great. So now we just need 1,000 of these. And maybe I'll just put these over on this side, because we don't really do any hammering over here. It might be wise to just put these over here. Also because I only have 62 more pieces of slate and rock, and this is going to take all of them. But first, we need more chisels. And now that those are up and running again, I think it's time to start the secret project. We need 12 copper ingots. And we're going to light them all up. And while we are hammering out chisels, we are going to throw those onto that anvil to make some plates. And like that, we have 6 copper plates, and we're going to put them here for now. But for now, let's copy these chiseled blocks and bring them back to the blacksmith. Okay, with all those done, all we have left is to put them in place and then rotate them. And with the drifters as audience, we are now done with the overhead grating. And I think it looks nice. I kind of like the extra sort of punch out in the middle. It gives it some character, I think. And this way, all the hot sparks and things won't fly up into our roof timbers. Now, it is time for the super secret project, but I think because I'm getting drifter spawns in here, I'm going to grab my toys, and we're going to go over to the house. And we can set up shop right here. I'm going to put down a dirt block, and then I am going to plop down this, And once again, we're going to start by cutting this down to a sliver, while the drifters cheer us on. Now this sliver is going to be centered in the block rather than on one side. Okay, it's more of a wedge than a sliver, but it's what I'm looking for. And now we're just going to maybe just rough out a bit of a shape here. Let's go for something like, and then we'll just bring it down like this, and maybe even like that. Yes, let's try that. Okay, we have that, and then we're going to kneel down here and just cut all of this out. Something like so. And then we're going to do the same thing up here. If you haven't figured it out yet, you will soon. Okay, now the super secret part of this is we are, for the first and hopefully one of the very few times, going to make a copper block, if I can remember how to make that. There we go. And we are going to add this. Oh, we can't apparently. Are you not? Ah. So apparently I need to turn on the additional chiseling options in order to actually chisel this. So we're going to do that right now, and I'll show you the command. This can be set up during world creation as well. And the command is /worldconfig space microblock space chiseling space all. You can also set it to none or stone, but we want all in this case. And hit enter, and we'll have to restart our game. So I'll be right back. And we are back, and now we should be able to add this copper block to our sign here. Whoops, I just told you what it is. There we go. So, let's continue our little project here. And here we have a little anvil. I'm going to go ahead and copy this design on this side and mirror it, and I'll bring it back when that's done. And there we have our little blacksmith sign with a copper anvil. I like it. I'm going to make these drifters go away, and then we're going to go hang our sign. Okay, so sign, I think we need to do a bit of this, and maybe even we'll bring out one more to hang the sign. We're gonna rotate you. Let's bring it in one. See how it looks. Yeah, there we go. I think that looks perfect. We now have a blacksmith with a sign. Now, briefly before we end here, I wanted to make a few final touches to our pottery shack, pottery house. So let's get to doing that. I want some bismuth as well, and some sphalerite, and light you up. And we're going to make a copper chisel, and a copper knife, and a bismuth bronze shovel. I think our potter needs a few tools, because, I mean, he needs some clay forming tools, right? And maybe a shovel that he would use to go and get his clay. I think over here, next to where he works, You would have maybe a chisel, that could be some kind of forming spoon, and then a knife for working with the clay. Maybe we'll put the knife up here instead. Here we go. And here is our blacksmith with all of our new windows in, and our sign out front. And then we have the new interior with all these metal grates, and we have crates instead of chests. We have the tables with our ingots, a sort of rejiggered storage system, and a random chest that I'm going to take with me. You don't belong here. I think this turned out really well. I'm pretty happy with it. Well, everyone, that is about it for this episode of the Vintage Story Guide. I hope you enjoyed our foray into the finer detail work that goes into builds, and I hope you had fun detailing the blacksmith with me. Anyway, as always, my name has been Korazar. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.